Hi everyone, this is Dave, and I am channeling for the Man in the Moon. This channel is called Moonride, and I'm going to ask about the future of the United States. Just one simple question: what is the future for us? Well, one thing that Spirit's trying to show me is that we do have this pioneering spirit. So I know that there's a lot of people who will criticize the United States. Oh, China is surpassing us. This is happening. Political problems, etc. But no one else quite has the same pioneering spirit. Nobody has the same know-how that we do. To have the adventure to figure things out and create something new. That's specific to an American psychology, that we are a curious people and we are people who are willing to go forward into unknown territory more than other cultures. And that is actually what is going to keep us in our stead. Those pioneers had really difficult times. I mean, not necessarily, I don't want to say that they were the good people and others were not the good people, but they confronted extremely difficult circumstances to move forward. They were willing to take these risks for freedom and something new, and that actually goes pretty far. Now they're trying to tell me that Chinese people aren't necessarily making so much new technology, although they have made a lot of strides in renewables, and that is how they are passing us. And it's up to us to um, catch up and surpass them. But if we put our mind to it, we could do it. It's just a question of American will and need. The Chinese have more of a need for solar power than we do. So if we were to recalibrate and recognize the need, we could do that, and that is where we should go. If we could just focus our energies on renewables, there would be no need for wars in the Middle East. We could save, 30% of our taxes by not spreading our armies all over the planet. They're not doing us any good. They're just drawing us into more wars. The army after army after army. Bernie Sanders is quite present now, and Bernie Sanders is actually looking like his ideas might become part of American future. It does seem like we're actually gonna make a turnaround, and things really are going to happen on the progressive front. I can see Bernie. He's giving me the thumbs up about which things. I'm just gonna ask him directly. So, Bernie, can you tell me where will we be successful in our progressives? Okay, so something to do with the money. The money's going to be a little bit more under control. Is that finance or just Wall Street? Is that political campaign finance? Yeah. Okay. So one thing about the present crises that we're having, it's largely because unlimited amount of money can just go into these people's pockets. You can secretly funnel tons of money into a political campaign. But now that the Russians have done it via the NRA, it is people are starting to recognize, even people of value and importance, that we really can't have a sovereign nation if it's going to be controlled by money from absolutely anywhere. The Supreme Court is starting to deliberate this. The Supreme Court is realizing their error. Um, not all. Some of those people never wanted this situation to come about, but you're starting to get a feeling of change. Two of the people on the Supreme Court are going to be replaced fairly soon. Is that Gorsuch? It looks like Gorsuch actually might be replaced fairly soon. Um, and who else? Um, I forget her name, and when I'm doing this, sometimes I forget facts. But the lady with the brown hair, who's actually a liberal, um, I forget the name of that justice, but you probably know who I mean. It looks like she is going to be replaced, but she's going to be replaced with somebody that she would like to replace her, somebody fairly progressive. Gorsuch seems very like angry actually that he's going to get replaced. It's like he represents some like really retrograde forces. Looks like that's the key is that once he gets replaced, we can start moving to a more progressive agenda. It's how is he going to get replaced? And really, I see him picking up and being just literally removed. I don't see him dying. I think that's something about his nomination. There's something maybe he did something wrong, or it would be unusual. But I get the feeling that he's out. He has done something wrong, and it's bad enough to actually displace him. And this will be very good for the country. We'll be moving forward a bit with a more progressive agenda. Economic times are going to be very rough in the next few months, and not necessarily rough, just really up, down, up, down, up, down. The stock market is just going to go crazy with volatility and really extreme volatility, like we haven't seen in a long time. And it's just because nobody knows what's going to happen. And that will also affect the future because it's just too out of control. Even bankers are going to want more stability than they're going to get out of the next 2 years, and they're just going to have to find some way to balance it out. So even they're starting to realize, like, hey, maybe it would be a little bit better. Maybe if we had a few more regulations, we'd be better off because it's just too damned unpredictable what's going to happen next. And all day long I've been seeing Cohen's picture, not just because I've been watching it on TV, but Cohen. He's like, there's something that he did that is going to so shock people that they'll be so outraged by what they find out that he did that they will start creating some laws to stop people from doing things like he did. I think it's worse than we've seen. I mean, I think like child trafficking. I mean, like bad stuff. And I'm just getting that even once a conservative finds out what he did, they're going to be so outraged that they'll like literally be in shock at what he has done, and his picture will be vilified. His image will be forever like put down as like this most It's ironic that Trump calls Comey a slimeball. He'll be like the poster child for gross in the future, the kind of guy that covers up, child predatory rings. It's very ironic, of course, because that's what they accused Hillary of doing. But there will be so much proof that he did it, like video or maybe the stuff that they're discovering on tape. Hmm. Hmm. And a lot of it has to do with Prague and what he did in Prague, where he met with those Russians. It's really just going to kill. It's just going to kill the Tea Party, and it's going to kill the conservative end of the Republican Party forever. Like it's just going to be one of those like World War II. We'll never see the rise of that faction again. It'll be the kind of thing that anytime people talk, they like use it as a referent for gross. Um, yeah, gross. Little girls, something really, really, really bad. Um, he has no ethics. This man is just he would kill children if it's in his client's interests. He has just no concern for humanity. Uh, yep, like really, like little girls. That's I keep getting, um, you know, like images of children and him just like having this malicious, you know, ugh, Cheshire cat kind of face. Like, what do I care? He's just that. He's just a perfect example of what do I care what happens to other people? All I care about is myself. Um, Money, Trump. mm, Yeah, Trump gave up money. He gave a lot of money to cover up what gross things that he did, and they're gonna find that out. Ha! Cohen made so many recordings. It's not even funny. He like recorded. He recorded like three recordings at the same time. Like he's that kind of just fanatic, so arrogant that he thought he'd never be caught. Um, all right, I'm going to try to refocus here on America's future. You know, America has been through hell, and it has lost standing in the world. But this will not be permanent. We will rise again. I mean, like I see bullet holes through the American flag. I see the American flag being hoisted upside down. I mean, it's country has been shot. It has been turned upside down, but it will recover. It will recover. It will become a more peaceful country. We will become more aligned with the UN in the future. All the things that progressive would want are going to come out of this thing. And I mean, in a strange way, it's totally counterintuitive. But the horribleness of the last year has is ultimately going to have a benefit because it just bringing things out in stark contrast. We're actually seeing what these people are doing, and in a weird way, it's like an inoculation, and it's we haven't seen nothing yet. It's going to get it's going to be so shocking that you'll never hear people say the crazy things that they say anymore. They just they won't be able to go there anymore because basically you'll look at them and say, oh yeah, so you support child molester, and huh? That's good for you. How great is that? Um, yeah, every senator will just be ashamed when they go to make their laws. They're going to come at them from a point of view of really ethical. What I did was wrong. I am ashamed. For the sake of the history, I want people to know that I tried to do the right thing. Ultimately, maybe I was wrong, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to live that way. I'm not going to. I'm not going to be that person who doesn't right or wrong. And I'm also seeing Cohen with a gun. Um, I wonder if Cohen also didn't have people killed. Yeah, he did have people killed. He also threatened people, and that's going to come out. You know what? It's going to come out on the recordings. I think he threatened some people, or he planned murder on the phone and recorded himself doing it. What a dum dum. Um, yeah, and he's totally living in a fantasy land. Like, oh no 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 no. I mean, he can't deal with what he's just done. He is so completely in. He's gone completely in denial because that's the only way that he can handle what's going on. Um, if he told Trump what he had recorded, Trump would kill him. Like he'd send out agents and shoot him because that's that's how bad. The only thing that's preventing Cohen from being shot right now is the fact that Trump doesn't know what was recorded, and Cohen isn't telling him. Will Cohen flip? Yep, I think Cohen's gonna flip. Cohen's gonna tell the whole goddamn truth because is essentially very self. He's essentially a self-serving person, and he knows. um, how serious it's going to be if he's, I mean, like, life in prison at a minimum if he doesn't start cooperating. So he's signaling to Trump, "Oh no, everything's okay. Like I'm here hanging out with my buddies instead of going to court." Yeah, well, that's just that he's just doing that to get Trump to not push it any further because then he's gonna flip on him. And he's showing me five. I don't know if that's 5 days or 5 weeks or 5 months. I think, wow, they're really gonna work on him for 5 months? No, is that 5 months? Okay, I'm getting a date. May 18th. Around May 18th, he's gonna 100% flip on Trump, and that is going to make Trump absolutely apoplectic. And when he rages and rages and rages, I mean, like, he's gonna rage like crazy, like set the White House on fire crazy. Like, I see people like running in panic away from him, and people going, "He's gone crazy. Should I sedate him?" I mean, like, he's tearing stuff up, just slamming the table, throwing papers around. People are in a meeting. They're sitting there, and they're like looking at him like, "What do we do?" And this is good in a sense that it's an inoculation. Like every single one of those people at that table is ultimately going to spill the beans and say, "You know what? He is a dangerous person. He's nuts." And you know what? Whenever I see him at the end, I always see him now with a knife, like taking a knife to like portraits and just tearing them up. And I don't know if that's symbolic, but he's just like, I don't know if it's real or symbolic, like Abraham Lincoln portraits, JFK portraits, just a man who's just gone crazy, and I think that it may just be a symbol of how like destructive he has been. But I think once we look at it, once we get a real picture of it, people are going to go, "We're never going back there again." And all these pundits who get on TV and try to defend him, they'll never be on TV again. They will just be shunned, and really, like, the younger people are going to live through this, and they're going to start building slowly a new America. And then, this is really actually I have quite an optimistic feeling that the youth will come. They will create a new nation, and that they will build something new. They will have enough perspective to go, we're never going back there. And what we're building is based on equality. What we're building is based on a modern understanding of how the world really is. They're not fools. They're not controlled by media forces. They are constructing, working together. They're honest. Um, Yeah, the image that I see is like a new flag flying over the United States. Now it's the same American flag. It's just that that flag has come down and it has again been reposted. It's been placed up there again. And as I see that, I feel a bit of confidence. Like, you know, we might look at our government and be like, "Oh, what a piece of junk." But to tell you the truth, laws did hold. Trump was investigated. Honest people on the right and the left did continue this. They have prevented him from firing Mueller, and I mean these are conservatives. These are old school John McCain. Respectable Republicans. They will be the ones actually who save the day. They are needed to remove Trump and to fix some of these things. And this is just going to recalibrate them and recalibrate everything. America's future is not a bad one, but it will take a few years to recover. I'm thinking it might take, 3 years for us to really recover. That's the number I'm getting. Three, 5. It's around that time. It's not exact. It could be 5 years, but it will take some time to recover. Economics, there will be economic consequences to this. He's telling me, put your money in a safe place. Now is not the time to fiddle with the stock market. You do not want your money there. Yeah, I see these young people rising and coming forward, and if you really want a better America, um, the young people are the ones that you need to turn to and support. Very much like the 1960s, only this is like the 1960s after Nixon, and it's not like, oh, hey, let's all drop LSD and like think about, XYZ. We're really, now these are level-headed people. They're not wacky. They don't dress crazy. They're level-headed people. They're not out just to party. These are serious young people, and I keep seeing, Hogg and who's the girl again? I always forget names when I'm doing this. Who's the girl with the shaved head? And I think they actually might, be political leaders, not just socially, but they might actually be, leaders of greater movements. Um, Again, I'm not necessarily certain they're symbolic, but especially David Hogg's space, I see as being someone um, who has something to offer us in the future, like in a political position, actually. Um, hmm Anything else, Great Spirit? What do I'm just going to ask this question with my eyes open. What do American people need to know? What do they need to do to make our nation a better place? Stay true to your heart and stay true to your values. We know what it means to be an American, and we need to keep that here in the heart. What does it mean to be an American in your heart? You forgot. You forgot what that was. Well, guess what? It's about equality. It's about sympathy for others. It's about everybody having a fair shake in the society. It's about fair elections. It's about really just having an agreement about what it means to be an American as opposed to an us them mentality. So his advice is that we do our best not to have an us them mentality. There's some people you're not going to change their minds, but you do not need to vilify them. That's not helpful. It is, disengage with such people and, work your best to engage those people who are, kind of in the middle, or engage those people who agree with you, but maybe not totally. And just, common decency and common respect for your fellow American, regardless of where they are, where they come from. Maybe you totally disagree with who they are. Maybe you're just appalled by their political choices. But remember that, those are still human beings. They are Americans. They may have reasons for why they've achieved some of these things. You might think that those reasons are not relevant, or something, and you might be right. But the point is that there are reasons why they did that, why they got there. Poverty is one of those reasons. Hopelessness, a feeling that they're not part of the American community, is driving them to go in these insane directions. It is the obligation of our society to not only focus on the cities, the cities, and what are they doing for us, and how much money are they making. What about mom and dad back home who are living on a farm, and what about them? How is this society helping them? And if you want to know why Trump evolved, is because we as a society have forgotten about them. No wonder they're angry and paranoid. No, we forgot about them. We left them behind. They're not bad people just because they live in a country. They're not bad people just because they have roots in a certain place and their children go to a certain school and they live in a certain house and they can't really pull their roots up and just go live in a city. They don't really have the wherewithal to do that. There's no job waiting for them where they can go start farming in downtown Detroit. Um, Something has to be done to bring money and good fortune and hope to them. And education would be the best way to do it. Just, you know, educate, give people new skills. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching.